We should be live. Corey is coming back. He had some technical issues on his end. The Wi-Fi was just kind of glitching out. So I will handle the first few questions specifically on the site as well. So we'll be sharing our screen right here. Boom, flockfantasy.com. If you guys do want to skip the line, of course, every start sit, you guys can do that over on Flock Fantasy. We will be pinning a comment with how to do that. Flockfantasy.com, promo code FSC. You submit your question, whether it's a start sit, team review, or a trade question. But we'll start off with the trade questions and start sits, but obviously the team reviews we'll do on the side. First question here from QS. I believe this is two different questions. So I guess he's got two different offers on the board here. First one, or I could do Monty plus JK. So I'm assuming this is the first one. J.K. Dobbins plus Brian Robinson in exchange for Jonathan Taylor plus Trey Sermon. So we'll look at that side right here. Is this the same deal? Okay, so he can either choose between Dobbins and Brian Robinson for Devon Achane or Dobbins and Brian Robinson for JT. Me personally, if I'm evaluating both of these offers, I personally would be willing to go after the Devon Achane side here. If you're desperate for wins, I would understand going with the JT side. But for me, I do prefer Devon Achane rest of the season. If you can weather the storm through the bye week, I would prefer actually having Devon Achane to both Jonathan Taylor and Trey Sermon. So for me, I actually do like this value. I mean, I understand you could look at it, okay, a couple RB2s in exchange for a guy that has high-end RB1 upside when he comes back with Devon Achane. But for me, this is the type of gamble I'm worth doing. You're 3-2. Like you said here, you have guys like, David Montgomery, Chase Brown, still in tow to be able to handle your running back points. If that's the case, if J.K. Dobbins and Brian Robinson are guys that are one of or two of four running backs you have on your team, I don't mind going out, consolidating, getting a hammer with Devon Achane once, of course, like I said, he's on bye week this week, probably going to be back after the concussion, whether that is the week after the bye or the week after that. But if you're in a 3-2 situation, start 7 league, like I said, go after the hammer. So give me Devon Achane there. Appreciate that from Q. And yes, I would take the Devon Achane side over the Jonathan Taylor and Trey Sermon side. So just let you know that. Again, I'm assuming you're probably watching both these questions at once on the stream. You should have a notification for both of them when you get to it. So again, appreciate you for submitting those questions, Q. Corey will be coming back. If you guys are curious, I mentioned at the top, Corey will be coming back in the next few minutes. I see like Christian, for example, asking. He will be back, like I said, next few minutes. So we do have another one here from, actually, funny enough, we do have Christian in the chat. He did submit this as well. So he says he will be trading away CeeDee Lamb and Brian Robinson. In return, we'll be getting Jahmyr Gibbs and A.J. Brown. This is a very close deal, I would say. For me personally, again, as much as I love CeeDee, I think you got to go with the RB1 upside here of Gibbs and A.J. Brown. I just think personally when I'm looking at this, although I view CeeDee as being the best player in the deal, you're upgrading Brian Robinson so much to Jahmyr Gibbs, while the gap between AJ and CeeDee isn't as much. So I do love my Cowboys, but I think the side that you have to go with here is the side of the 2 league winners there with Gibbs and AJ Brown. So appreciate that from you, Christian. Yeah, I believe Corey is back in the backstage. Are you doing okay here with the connection?
Yeah, I think I think I should be good. We'll see.
Okay.
All right. The internet decided to shit the bed on me right before we went live. So
no, you're good. You came in right as I was not biased, actually. I picked the side that wasn't CeeDee Lamb because to me, I mean, I'll just show you the deal. Gibbs and A.J. Brown, as much as I prefer Lamb as the best player in the deal, the gap between Brian Robinson and Jahmyr is so massive. So you take the 2 league winners.
Yeah, the gap between A.J. Brown and CeeDee Lamb is precisely 1 spot in my wide receiver rankings. So it's quite close for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have CeeDee too low, but that's another time and day. This situation. Okay, so what I'm seeing here basically is he needs to start 2 of Brandon Ayuk, Terry McLaurin, and Marvin Harrison Jr. To me, the clear benching option is McLaurin, right?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get wanting to start McLaurin over Harrison. As well. Yeah, well, I mean, you're not starting BTJ against the Bears defense, probably.
He'd be my third option over Terry.
He wouldn't for me, not in a bad matchup.
I get that, but honest to God, man, like the guy is averaging over 3 yards per route run as the wide receiver 9 as a rookie right now. Like again,
the Ravens and Commanders game is like just a fantasy bonanza waiting to happen. Yeah. And the Bears and Jags, it's in London. It's one of the top 5 secondaries in the league. I could see definitely sitting Brian Thomas for Terry if you needed to. I mean, regardless, I think you're playing Ayuk and Harrison in this decision. Yeah. But Harrison is expected to see shadow coverage from Jair Alexander, which is also worth noting too. But I would
He's
still
coming in banged up though, no?
Ayuk and
Jair missed last week, I believe, so he's coming banged up.
He did, yeah. He's coming back from an injury, but he is expected to shadow if he does end up suiting up for this game. So Ayuk would be the first one, which you want in your starting spot, by the way, just because
he plays on Thursday, correct? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and then
yeah, and then in terms of the other options here, again, I would still go with Marv over BTJ, but if BTJ keeps playing the way he has been and Marv struggles a little bit in the next couple of weeks, we could be having a conversation of BTJ versus Marvin Harrison Jr. rest of the season, because BTJ has played well enough to warrant those talks. Again, I would still take Marv, but like BTJ has been a big riser, and I think Corey is lagging. We go Marv here, and then in terms of the quarterback position, you going A-Rich over Gino, I'm assuming? A-Rich fully healthy, back at practice today? I think Corey is lagging, or I am. It's one of the two. You guys can hear me correctly. Hopefully it is not my end. Again, apologies for the technical issues, but you're good now?
Okay. Yeah, it's me. It's definitely my end. I would go Gino over Richardson personally.
Really? He's back at practice.
He is, but Downs is unlikely to play. Pittman's already been ruled out. It's not a good matchup to begin with against Tennessee. I would play Gino. It's a much better game environment in this game. They're at home. San Fran's
no Charvarius Ward, actually.
Yeah, they're good defense, but they don't have Charvarius Ward. They're a pass-heavy operation. To me, Gino is a much better play than Richardson. I have Richardson outside my top 15 quarterbacks very comfortably this week. Without his top two receivers, like, to me, that doesn't seem like a great formula against the defense that is quite good against the pass.
So initially I had Flacco in my rankings because I thought Richardson would miss because he was limited. So I'm going to have to make that change. I had Flacco at 18 and I had Gino at 17. And knowing the circumstances, again, Downs also misses today. Like you said, we already know Pittman's going to be out of this game. Well, I am optimistic about Pierce and, of course, Adonai Mitchell, who should receive a healthy bump in terms of the snaps. At the same time, injured Richardson, low passing volume. I think Gino's got to be the play. I mean, fun fact, the Seahawks, I actually talked about it in my short today. Seahawks in the last month of the year, #1 in pass rate over expectation, and are also #1 in pass attempts per game on the season, just above the Dallas Cowboys. So we know this team is going to throw the football. I know they've gone on record saying, yeah,
I think they'll probably make an emphasis to give Kenneth Walker a lot of carries in this game. And I actually put that in my underdog pick for my TikTok because I think Kenneth Walker is going to go higher than his carries. But their offensive identity is Ryan Grubb and throwing the football.
Yeah, 100%. It's just the issue that I have with the running game this week specifically is that, I mean, the Niners so far this year have been a pass funnel defense, and especially without Charvarius Ward on the field, man, like that's scary to me.
Yeah.
So again, like I think overall the Seahawks are probably going to score more points than people anticipate going into this game. Like I can see it being a 27-23 final drive type of game either way. And I think you are frozen again, unfortunately. So we will put Geno Smith in. I will answer that question for you. Again, hopefully you got a lot of value from that, Zach. We went through a full discussion over those players, and you should be getting the link as well to that. Can't pick sorry, I just noticed this. Can't pick up Purdy off waivers and drop Geno too. I mean, they're very comparable options for me. I don't mind just rolling Geno. I think like they're very close for me to the point where I would prefer Geno. I don't know. That is close. I wish you were not lagging.
I have Purdy higher.
You pick a Purdy? Okay, I would. Yeah, I don't mind.
I would. I mean, it's close enough that if you look ahead at their schedules or something, and Geno's schedule is better for the long term, and that's who you want to roll with instead. If it's for one game, then I would prefer Purdy. But if it's like, I'd have to look ahead at their schedule.
Well, your other quarterback's A-Rich, and he's banged up and hasn't been playing well. So would you hold a Geno knowing that they're just throwing the ball at a higher rate than Purdy? Like, I think they're very comparable rest of the season for what it's worth. But I don't know. What do you think
again, I like Geno's the better play just by the simple fact that the Niners like to run in the red zone and they kick field goals because they're a bunch of giant baby back bitches anytime they get a fourth down opportunity. Yeah, I mean, Geno's got San Fran, Atlanta, Buffalo, Los Angeles Rams the next 4 weeks. So I'd probably just stick with Geno most likely.
Yeah, okay. So hopefully that got completed like that. Oh, sorry, my apologies. My mouse is a glitch. Hopefully that submits like that because I pressed next question and it reset. So okay, so he'll get the option for it anyways. Anyways, so we go on to the next question here from Snubs, and there's a few considerations he already has in the lineup. First of all, wide receiver. I mean, having Lamb and Amon or St. Brown just feels unfair. It does mention here gross bye week for me with no Kyron Aaron Jones. In a 12-team start 8 PPR redraft, how did you end up with Lamb, Amon, or Kyron? I mean, like Aaron Jones, you probably got later, but regardless, that is getting those guys in your first 3 rounds feels crazy.
Yeah, and we did. We actually have our says in the chat, why can't I super chat? And of course, I'm going to lag out on doing it.
Yeah, RG say, why can't I super chat? We actually have super chats turned off. We do have pinned in the chat though. If you do want to ask a question or get your team reviewed, flockfantasy.com/purchase code FSC. We'll be able to get that for you again. That is the easiest way for us in terms of being able to grant a super chat like system. The unfortunate part, obviously, with super chats themselves is that YouTube takes a big cut. Whereas over on the site, it's a lot more aesthetic when we're going through your questions. We're not just reading it on screen. You guys can actually see, being able to see the players, the actual questions, obviously any context you can give. It's just such a better system, in my opinion, to the super chat system.
Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna. If people are gonna pay us super chats, we're not gonna ignore.
Yeah,
them.
we're not gonna ignore
I don't
them.
want you guys wasting your money.
No,
so it's better
absolutely.
if we just turn them off altogether. I think this is probably a situation that's better off. Anyways, let's get to this question here. You got Madison Singletary. I mean, Singletary was back at practice, so I feel pretty comfortable.
I think he's going to be back.
I mean, regardless, you have a Giants running back. If Singletary is out, you throw Tracy in, but I would imagine it's going to be Singletary on Sunday night.
Yeah, that's a beautiful pivot. So, I mean, you take whoever is the starting Giants running back. Again, it looks like it's going to be Devin Singletary. Unfortunately for my Flock League team, especially considering I'm most likely going to be without Malik Neighbors, that's a tough pill to swallow. But, I mean, you have the transition. If Singletary gets rolled out, you plug Tracy in. And if Tracy is the back, assuming Singletary's out, like he's a legitimate top 15, 18 running back. Like I would almost rather prefer Tracy with no Singletary than Singletary with Tracy in the backfield.
Absolutely.
Very clearly.
Yeah, we also, Singletary coming off an injury.
I believe you cut out. So, yeah, you are lagging pretty hard. But
Madison was.
Yeah, I didn't hear you, but that's okay. The other option I think you said was Madison, and I would agree with that. Bigsby, though, like we could be talking about in 2 weeks that Bigsby may even end up being the RB2 on your team, because I can see a possibility where if he does take the majority workload from ETN, he could even be ranked ahead of Aaron Jones if he's getting 60-70% of the Jaguars work, being how he's been playing so far. I think that's a little bit closer for discussion, but that's something we could potentially have in the future. The rest of the questions, though, I think you have it pretty clearly set up. Fields, solid top 10 level option this week going up against the Raiders, and I also think your wide receivers are set. I'll take one last glance to see maybe if there's anything we completely overlooked. No, like as much as I like Jalen Waddle, the player, and actually he's on bye anyway, so yeah, good call. But yeah, appreciate that submission. Classic Christian.
Christian just memeing in the chat.
I love you, brother.
I think the left side wins just slightly.
I don't know, man. I think I kind of want Wandale here. I don't know. I'm just saying, like he's offering enough. I must have him. I mean, you gotta go. You gotta go for your guy.
I hope that was worth the $6, Christian.
Appreciate it, bro. Yeah, I mean, like Wandale, clearly, you can't even call him the 101. He's like the 10, like 0.1, because he's just so much clearer of the rest of the field. So yeah, we go with Wandale.
And he's also a small guy, so 1.1 makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Drake London for Bijan. I mean, which Falcon are you taking here? I think as much as I like Drake London, if I could,
Bijan, right?
Yeah, like give me Bijan. Drake London, to his credit, though, I think has definitely been a big-time riser and a guy that you have to consider maybe a week and a half ago was a mid-range wide receiver 2 rest of the season, and now you're looking at a low-end wide receiver 1?
Yeah, I have him as a top 6 receiver this week in my rankings.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's very reasonable. I currently have him, where do I have him ranked? I think 7 or 8, I believe. Let me take a look. I have him at wide receiver 7. The only guy I think maybe we disagree on would be like Jaden Reed, probably.
Yeah, I have him one spot ahead of Jaden Reed.
The other one too. I'm going to be obviously taking Malik Neighbors out of my rankings.
Yeah, I have Neighbors ahead of him right now, but
okay.
He'll probably come out at some point.
Yeah. So regardless, if you have Drake London, very, very nice week. And I mean, maybe do you wait to do this trade after the week because Bijan's on the injury report and Drake London could just smash against Carolina? Because they're close enough rest of the season where, like, I don't think it's a smash either way.
Yeah. I mean, you have to temper expectations for Bijan a little bit,
Yeah.
given what he's shown so far. I still am very comfortable projecting him as an elite running back, but I'm still comfortable making this trade.
Yeah.
Even if you told me right now that Bijan's going to miss a game, I would still be comfortable making this trade.
Now, question I have for you: does that change if Slush Monkey is 2-3 or 1-4? Because I think it does. You would wait after the week in that case.
Yeah. If you're in desperate need of a win or something, then maybe just hold London for the time being. But I feel pretty good about Bijan rest of the season.
Yep. Hopefully that's all the context you needed here. 10 teams start 7. So assuming if Bijan can get back to that 20+ point game level that we projected coming into the year, he should be that profile hammer back that you need. So again, close call. If you're afforded the opportunity to maybe take, like, I don't want to say a tank week because it's not necessarily what it is, but if Bijan maybe doesn't get his full workload with that late week hamstring injury, if you're in a position where you're 4-1, 3-2, and you can eat that, I'm cool with paying this for Bijan Robinson. I appreciate
for the love of God, let's get Bijan in the game this week because the Panthers are like the worst defense in the league against the run.
Yeah, no, the Panthers are very bad against the run. Now, with that being said, I am biased. If Bijan wanted to take a nice, relaxing week, maybe ice up the hamstring a little bit, let Tyler Algier handle the workload. I'm not just saying that because I play against Bijan and I have Algier in the Flock League, but also that would be pretty nice, I'm just going to say.
Yeah. Also, for the 30th time, have you gotten Christian McCaffrey's targeting a return in November? I've seen this notification 300 times.
They
We get
love
it.
saying
He's
that.
coming back in November.
Yeah, they quite like it. Also, what the Habs game when I stopped watching before stream was 1-0. And now it's just 2-2 and that goal got fucking overturned. So like there's been
Tough.
5 goals and 1 got overturned in that game. Crazy.
Yeah, Pacioretty scored his first as a Leaf.
Good for him against Devils, right?
Yeah.
You versus Ron, eh?
Yeah.
And Nick.
I mean, I don't think Ron is thinking the team's too competitive.
Fair. I mean, what a gutsy win last night, by the way. Montembeault just stands on his head.
Definition of a fucking Habs Leaf game is the Leafs can't score on the Habs for some reason.
The Habs scored their goal in the first period and then just started playing trap the rest of the game. They're like, yeah, you guys can get all these fucking perimeter shots.
I felt like I watched a
Montembeault
fucking
was on his
soccer game yesterday.
Dude, for real.
Parked
You're
the
taking
bus
Puka
after
and
the
Mason,
second
right?
period.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Taking
Yeah,
Puka
Mason and Puka for sure here. As much as I like Chase Brown, uncheck the winner there on the right side.
Yep. Appreciate
Yeah, that is
that.
very like, I mean, Mason's, you could make the argument Mason's worth as much as Montgomery there, and like the upside of Nakua is just so much more worth it.
See, I understand that you have high upside and H hands on buy. I would argue back that Mason, just as a pure weekly ceiling play, he might go off tonight against.
Yeah, well,
the
and the other
Seahawks
thing is too, like you can need a win and want to sell Nakua because you need a win, but like this isn't the deal.
Don't sell Mason. Yeah, don't sell Mason
like
if you need
sell
a win.
Nakua straight for somebody that's going to help you win. You don't need to sell Mason right now.
Yeah, and Christian, I know CMC is coming back, but are we even certain that he's going to meet that timeline? Like it's been delayed how many
not
times?
Only that, but he's 1-4.
Yeah, and Jordan Mason is the RB5 in my rankings this week. So,
yeah, like Sawyer's not in a position to trade Mason away. You just pray and hope that you got 5 or 6 more weeks of this guy.
Like maybe it's a different conversation if Chase Brown doesn't get put on the injury report and we knew Zach Moss was out this week. Because prior to that news, based off the information we had yesterday, Chase Brown was the RB12 for me in my rankings this week if there was no Zach Moss and if he was fully healthy. Now with the context that both were limited today, Moss
did he get added
progressing
after a full? Did Chase get added after a full participation on Wednesday, or were they both limited on Wednesday?
He got added to the injury report today with the quad.
Ooh.
Today, yeah. Unfortunately. And then Zach Moss actually returned to practice with the limited.
Oh, yeah, you're
unfortunately.
Right, he wasn't on the injury report. You know what's wild?
Mm-hmm.
In my home league, I traded Pittman for Odunze. Pittman's going to IR, apparently. And then I traded Chase Brown for Jordan Love, and Chase Brown pops up randomly on the injury report.
Oh, you ended up making a trade with Arnie?
I did, yeah. Chase Brown for Jordan Love was the trade I ended up making. And before you guys say, oh my God, I fleeced him, it's like he already had Jaden Daniels, and this is a league where nobody values quarterbacks. Like my home league, everybody understands that quarterbacks aren't worth shit.
I don't think people would say that
Daniels, Jordan Love, he was just going to be rotating and having a hard start sit decision every single week. Maybe you argue he just holds both of those guys and uses both of them, but he was like, you know what, I might as well get an upside running back.
Yeah, for sure. And I understand that too, because I mean, like I said, Chase Brown is still a top 24 running back for me rest of the season. I still think at this point, there's a very real possibility he can usurp Zach Moss in terms of usage. Like, don't get me wrong, what we saw in the first few weeks was the Zach Moss show, but on 40% of the work, Chase Brown has just been that level of a difference maker in the backfield. And as we've seen
really
historically, it doesn't matter who came into the year with the assumed touches. I mean, look at the Raiders, for example. Zamir White was waxed poetic as this bell cow ball carrier. At the end of the day, when foot meets gridiron, that's a terrible fucking analogy.
Foot meets gridiron tends to happen. That's what happened to James Cook's toe.
Yeah, fair play. When the foot meets the leather, you need the guy that's going to deliver more. And Chase Brown has just been flat out a better running back than Zach Moss. Love that analogy, by the way. Great start to the live stream, other than the lagging.
Hey, if we were organized, you guys would go somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure. Now, hear me out. This is a much better offer than the other one. Now, I'm not taking it, but actually, I think I would. I don't know. Chris Godwin is like, this is a good offer, man. If you need wins.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the same league. Like, are you 1-4 in this league as well, Sawyer? Because, like, I mean, I guess you have Mason in this league too, if it's a different league. But
yeah,
with
12 teams start,
he would stack Godwin with Baker. He says too.
Yeah, and he said HN was on bye in the other question, and he has HN listed here.
Okay, yeah. So there's a good chance this is the same league. I mean, if you trade Mason, though, he says other running backs are Brooks, Achane, Singletary. Who the hell are you starting at running back this week if you're 1-4? You probably have to keep Mason here, I think.
I mean, you'd have Dowdle that replaces Mason.
You gonna play Dowdle and Singletary this week? As a 1-4 team, I think I might want to use Mason for the extra game.
Yeah, and it's only a start 7, so it's not like you can just be absolutely flooded at wide receiver. Yeah, that is actually a difficult situation. Do I make this deal after this week is what he says. So let's just say Achane, bye week this week, concussion. Usually those are unless you're Malik Neighbors, usually those are done within a week and a half. Apparently Malik Neighbors is just on like an advanced concussion plan.
Oh, I saw a report that he was at the Travis Scott concert.
I sent it in the chat. It's like, buddy, like you got to suit up for Team Daniel at 21. What the fuck are we doing bumping to the Scots right before the week?
I mean, forget your fantasy team. That's just like actually really dangerous for your brain if you have a concussion.
I'm not gonna lie, I went to a party off of a concussion and also got hammered. But
also, why do I feel like every girl I went to high school with at one point was like at a party being like, I have a concussion right now. And they're like getting drunk. I'm like, you guys are just dumb.
Never heard that before.
You guys are just stupid. Like, I don't know why you're flexing that.
I'm not gonna lie, that did happen to me before. I may or may not be the first time I partook in smoking. So,
that was dumb. If you have a concussion, you're drinking and smoking. I'm sorry.
I was 16, bro. I was 16.
Fucking licking walls.
I was 16. Bro. Yeah, no, concussions are not to fool with. All jokes aside, hopefully Malik's okay. But with that being said, what the fuck are you doing at a fucking concert, you dumbass? But anyways,
literally.
So he does say he can make this deal after this week. I would rather do that than Sawyer.
Yeah, I would rather do that. But I'd say your side is the winner for the time being.
Yeah. J Dollar sign, appreciate that. 2 lateral moves since I've already loaded. Concerns about losing immediate production at 2 and 3. Gives away Jahmyr Gibbs, Jaden Reed, and Brian Thomas for Breece Hall and Nico Collins.
You can't trade for Collins if you're 2 and 3, unfortunately.
A and B, dude, Jaden Reed's a wide receiver 1 for me rest of the season. Like,
yeah, I actually like, even if Collins wasn't hurt, I actually think this is probably a better deal for the Gibbs, Reed, and Thomas side still.
You guys know how much I love fucking Nico Collins. With that being said, I have Jaden Reed and Brian Thomas Jr. as both top 15 wide receivers rest of the season, and I have Breece Hall versus Jahmyr Gibbs, RB2 versus like RB4. So like, you got to go with this side from a pure value standpoint. Especially if you're 2 and 3 and you need the production. Yeah.
As a 2 and 3 team, like as much as I'd love to just like be like, oh yeah, like bank the upside or whatever, it's like it's pretty similar at running back there, and you're giving up 2 very productive, very healthy receivers for one who's not.
Yep, for sure. So hold your side there, $, appreciate that. Assuming, we got it right. Lamar, running backs, Gibbs, Achane, Hunt, Gibson, Spears. Wide receivers, Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, Shaheed Leggett. Tight ends, he's got Pitts and Kraft. And in this trade question, he would be receiving Allen and Lamb for Garrett Wilson, Hunt, and Lamar. This is a smash beyond all smashes. This is a 12-team start, 8 half PPR. Go get me the 2 league winners. I understand Lamar's outplaying Josh Allen right now, but they're in the same tier for me rest of the season. And in a start 8 league, I'm paying Wilson and Hunt to upgrade to Lamb every time.
Yeah. It's a pretty fair deal, though. I think you can make the argument for sure that Kareem Hunt's going to be like a mid RB2 until Pacheco comes back. But we're probably talking like a month and a half, maybe 2 months at the absolute most that Pacheco's back on the field. And I think there's enough of an upgrade there from Wilson to Lamb for me to do it. I mean, like, your team's in a good spot by the looks of, like, I'm reading your team right now. It looks like you could actually use the star power of Allen and Lamb there, because then you bump up your wide receiver 1 from Wilson to Lamb. You bump up your QB from Allen, or like Lamar and Allen again is pretty much a wash, but you have star power already at running back with Gibbs and Achane and those type of guys. So yeah, this is a pretty good deal.
Yep, agree there. By the way, I don't know what's going on with Hassan Reddick. Why am I still getting Rappaport reports from him? I don't know, but we'll go to the next question here. Najee and Bijan would be given up in exchange for ETN, Dell, and Rachaad White. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I think this is not close. I want Bijan very easily.
Yeah, this is very, very easily Bijan.
Yeah. I know you have Nico on IR. You have to drop Rice. That is very unfortunate. Now, with that being said, I can tell you this as a guy who's lost Rice and has Nico on IR. Would I trade Breece Hall in this package? Absolutely fucking not. And I can relate to
it's actually very similar. And you know what's funny is actually, I was going to say, I only have one of these players. I was going to say, I have like most of the players on the other side, but I just have Dell. But no, I get maybe you need to sell off a stud.
This is just not the depth to do it. All these guys are on the downtrend.
2 good, very solid pieces for Bijan in a 2-for-1, as opposed to a 3-for-2 where you're getting 3 kind of mediocre. Like, can you even start these guys confidently every single game? Like, Dell now is probably a good start, I guess, because of Nico Collins' injury. But like, Etienne and Rachaad White are like, they're fringe starters right now. Like, you don't know for sure if you could start these guys.
And I ended up seeing the segment that you mentioned with Harmon, and he was basically talking about, like, and it makes sense because I think what's his name? Jeff Mueller, the JM Thrive doctor, he tweeted out apparently that, well, the injury he suffered was very similar to that of Tony Pollard. Both him and Andrew suffered the same type of leg break that Pollard did.
Everyone looks like they're washed after this injury, apparently.
Yeah. So
next time someone suffers this injury, I'm paying attention, because apparently they're terrible the next year after suffering it.
Yeah, very noted. Very noted. Hold your side, though. We want Bijan Robinson there, Kyle. Appreciate that. Next one from Tager. Trade question again. 1 quarterback, 8 team start, 8 half PPR. Keep this
Jefferson.
in mind.
I don't care who's on there.
I don't have to see the other side.
I want Jefferson. It's so easy.
I'm kind of confused here because, like, when I'm actually comparing both the sides, like, I would rather Jefferson to Gibbs, and I'd rather Walker slightly. Actually, like, they wash out, but in an 8-team start 8, like, I want the running back.
Yeah, and like, I mean, there's probably people out there that would contend Walker over Gibbs if you're talking the running back for the running back. I wouldn't. I'd rather have Gibbs, but there's definitely going to be people out there that would prefer Walker, and I don't think anybody's contending that Brian Thomas is better than Justin Jefferson right now. As good as Brian Thomas has been, like, Jefferson is definitely the best receiver and the best player in this deal.
It's an LSU wide receiver for an LSU. What? No, I'm kidding. He was start sit decision, 1 quarterback, 10-team start, 9.5 PPR league. He's already got
K1.
Wide receiver, tight end, and running back locked in. K1, I agree, would be your starting quarterback. I do like Fields this week, but I mean, Kyler Murray is Kyler Murray. You're not sitting in for Justin Fields, plain and simple. For me, there is 2 clear options for this. Now, in a half PPR start 9, if we knew the context, it would be Chase Brown in the backfield and no Zach Moss. I would go Chase Brown. But because we have the knowledge right now that both are on the injury report, Moss came back, Chase Brown added to it. Like, Tony Pollard's a top 15 running back for me this week.
Tony Pollard's been really solid this year. So you know how we, like, in the Flock League, we roasted Nathan for the Aaron Jones, Tony Pollard.
I would take Pollard over Jones rest of the season very easily now.
Yeah, I think I would too. And not only that, but Kyron's outscored Jefferson this whole time.
You know what? Maybe he was actually sharp looking back. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it sucks that you look at Avery's team and he's got Jefferson and fucking St. Brown on the same team. He can wax poetic about how much of a paper champ he is, man. And I love his how Mason. Good. Like, I would rather have his team than mine. I'll keep it a stack.
Good team, but it's hilarious how I go to the league chat and I see, like, Mason's like, I just updated my power rankings, and people are like, oh, how the mighty have fallen, because I was like 11th in Mason's power rankings. And I'm like, buddy, I'm 4-1 and I have the most points in the league. When I win without those guys, you're going to be even more bitter. Keep hating. I ended up recording a little motivational pep talk for the team that was influenced by Friday Night Lights. You guys will see a little peek of that on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Do you
I
remember?
find it hilarious that when I sort by my rest of season rankings, Mason is only Joe is worse
Dude, and I lost my top 2 wide receivers, and it's still better than Mason's
team.
Hilarious. But
Like
so
Green Means Money's the only team worse than Mason's in my rest of season rankings.
yeah, that is wild. I am curious. So if you two, do you remember from Friday Night Lights when they were in the locker room of the championship game and Coach Taylor gave them the pep talk of like how like everybody counted them out when Jason Street got hurt?
Yep.
I reenacted that with Rashee Rice for my team.
So who's Matt Saracen in this situation?
Fucking, I guess Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Tolbert.
Hey, don't forget Dontavian Wicks, who's about to be benched now for Christian Watson.
Dude, hear me. Dontavian's going to go the fuck off this week. Against Arizona.
I feel pretty good about my side of that deal. I mean, I should tweet at Rome Odunze's dad and brother because they roasted me during the draft cycle for hating Odunze, but I traded for him in 2 leagues this week, so I'm a Odunze truther apparently.
The 1 week I tweeted at his dad was when Odunze went 6 for 110 in a tug, so maybe that's not the worst idea.
Yeah, literally. Maybe I should tweet at him. Be like, hey, I remember me. You roasted me because I don't know ball or whatever, and now I've traded for Odunze in 2 different leagues.
Yeah, by the way, I also think I'm going to end up way higher on Wicks than you because he's like my wide receiver 26 this week.
Yeah, that's copium. I mean, he's a solid play this week, but I actually like you call me crazy for this one. Like this is a outlandish take about to come out of my mouth. I'd rather play Jalen Tolbert.
I mean, they're not far off for me. Yeah, I think I have Tolbert way higher than you do too, though.
Yeah,
you're not gonna like where I have
actually have Tolbert way higher than like when I loaded the ECR in to do my weekly rankings. I was like,
where do you have Tolbert ranked?
Low here.
Where do you have Tolbert ranked?
Let me take a look. I'm careful of opening more tabs because I don't want to lag out again. But
no, you're chill. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'll pull it up. He's in like my top 36 for sure. I just got
okay.
Yeah, he's 34.
I have him at 31, and I thought I was aggressive. So like that's respectable. That's respectable. Dude, he looks fucking good. And like again, people are calling me biased Cowboys fan. This side, like, dude, when you watch the Cowboys games, like he is the only other wide receiver that's actually created separation on the outside other than Lamb. Like straight up.
Yeah, I do actually have Wicks ahead of him slightly just now that I'm noticing this, but it is it's pretty close.
So I have Wicks at 25 right now. The reason why is because like I think like Christian's gonna hate me for this. I have Wan'Dale slightly lower, but if Neighbors gets rolled out, I'll probably put him higher. I have Dell below him just because Dell hasn't been playing good football. And like, honestly, like from a vibe standpoint, I know Wicks is commanding targets on Green Bay versus Dell has just not looked like the same player. So I do have him above. Shaheed is the one I'm wrestling with. Your guy's secondary sucks, but he's also entering with a Q tag.
Yeah.
Darnell Mooney's probably somebody
by the looks of it too.
And Darnell Mooney, I probably have to raise a little bit prior.
I have Shaheed quite a bit lower than this range that you're discussing. I'm
really?
They're starting Spencer Rattler. Like, I mean, Rattler could be good, and we like to make rookie quarterbacks look like, reincarnated Jesus every time we play them. But I do think that Shaheed could probably struggle if they have a young quarterback who's not going to be willing to stretch the field in there.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Chris,
we should probably get through some more questions here because I don't know how many we have left here.
For sure. We will refresh after this too. Trade discussion: Rachaad White, Lamar Jackson, CeeDee Lamb for Brees, London Love. I don't really have to ask you here. When I'm looking at Lamar Jackson versus Love, I do prefer Lamar a tier ahead. But when we're equating the rest of the side here, London plus Hall versus White plus Lamb, like Rachaad White to me at this point, you're the Bucs fan. You could talk on this. I'm getting worried, man. I'm getting worried.
Him and ETN are definitely worrisome RB1s from last year who are basically just going to be in 50-50 committees rest of the season by the looks of it. I mean, I still, like, if you ask me gun to my head right now, who's going to outscore who in the committee, like, I think it will still be White over Irving, but it's not like, how did Rachaad White get there last year? Rachaad White got there on elite volume, and he's not getting elite volume right now.
No. The way I look at this is Lamar Jackson like a 22 to 24 point per game quarterback? Sure. But is Jordan Love like in my opinion, a 19 to 21 point per game quarterback? Absolutely. And then when you compare that to the discrepancy, Hall and London versus Rachaad White and Lamb, like I love Lamb, but you're taking the guys that can be RB1 and wide receiver ones. pretty much.
Yeah,
So.
they're actually functional upgrades to your starting lineup.
Yeah. By the way, it is Majin. So shout out Majin. I also see him in the chat here. Yeah. I definitely want the Hall side for you there. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, Jeff. I'm worried about Mason's output and how B-Rob will be able to fill in Lama Conkey plus Mason in exchange for Tyreek Hill. So we're hearing more positive reports about Tua, which obviously makes you more willing to go for the Tyreek side. And personally, for me, I want Tyreek here because especially if you're in a spot where you're 4-1, you're 3-2, you can potentially eat both the bye week and maybe whether that's 1 or 2 more weeks without Tua. I think the risk reward factor, especially knowing that Mason's only a short-term asset, is so much higher for the Tyreek side here.
Yeah, no, he said, I'm worried about Mason's output and how B-Rob will be able to fill in. And like, I don't know what your record is, but if your record's positive, this is a very easy smash on the Tyreek side.
Agreed there. We'll go to Captain Swanky. This is a dynasty question, it looks like. Again, 2 quarterback, 10 team start 9 PPR league. He would be trading away Jordan Mason in 2/3 in exchange for Braylon Allen, Trey Sermon, and an early to mid second. So I think Mason at this point's got to be at least canceling out.
The early to mid second is probably about what he's worth on the open market. I mean, if you're getting 4 or 5 more games of an RB1, what is that worth to you? It's probably an early to mid second, but at the same time, he's probably nothing other than a handcuff once he's back. Once Christian McCaffrey is back on the field,
and then Braylon and Sermon, you're taking over 2/3 pretty comfortably. So
yeah, like
honestly,
Braylon, you can make the argument in Dynasty that Braylon Allen's more valuable than Mason straight up. Like you could make that argument. I probably wouldn't go there because Braylon's doesn't really have like a whole big long term appeal to getting a lot of work.
Well, the thing is like we saw Mason in the absence of McCaffrey. Again, like knock on wood, nothing happens. But if anything were to happen to Breece Hall,
like, Allen will be just as valuable as Mason is now.
Yeah, probably more, to be honest, because people know he's at least like the metrics show like he's a better pure running back. We know Mason obviously is a good running back,
and he was actually a good prospect.
Yeah. So we will go with the Braylon Allen side there, Captain. Flash also has here, I still have Garrett Wilson, Jaden Reed, Breece Hall, Chase Brown, and Jalen Waddle. Basically, what he's trying to say is, should I move Brian Thomas, J.K. Dobbins in the third for Bijan Robinson? And call me crazy, dude. I think you can make the case of Brian Thomas straight up versus Bijan Robinson in Dynasty right now, dude.
I'm still doing this, though, to be honest.
I'm comfortable doing it, but like, I think you make a conversation.
Is like it's worth having the discussion right now. Like, how valuable is Bijan?
You can get Breece and Bijan. It's pretty tempting, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no. If you're getting the top of the running back market, I'm definitely okay doing it. But if you ask me, like Brian Thomas or Jonathan Taylor, like I have a hard time taking BTJ easily. Taylor in that situation.
I think it's very. I think you can even make the. I think the case is like BTJ versus Gibbs. To be honest, like that is a very. Yeah, big I would still take
Gibbs. The problem is there's no running back in between those guys. I guess Achane. It would be BTJ versus Achane. I think I would prefer Achane still slightly, but it would be close.
But then you get to like Barkley. It's like, yeah, give me BTJ.
Yeah, then I'm taking BTJ.
Yeah. Yeah, so we will go to the next question. I'll quickly update the stream. It does say that we've caught up, but I guess.
Yeah, Chan, I think your questions may have gone through 3 times.
You can see if you can refund the other 2 then, because obviously we're not going to take your money if you only meant to submit 1. So let us know there, Chan.
Yeah. I saw his thing in the chat, and on the back end, it sends us an email when someone sends us a review or sends us a trade question, and I got 3 emails for you, Chan. So I think it may have worked 3 different times.
Check that for you, because again, like we don't want to take your money.
I'll see if I can actually. He said it's the same 3 questions. Okay, I think I might be able to actually refund them from my end, but if not, I'll reach out to the devs and see if they can do that. But we'll answer it once for you.
We'll make sure you're only charged once, because like that would be ridiculous. So we will still go with the Braylon Allen side there, Captain. We already so it's just showing a couple questions that we already answered, I believe. This is the same deal. I guess like another third got added to the package is what he's implying here. That being said, I would still take Bijan there, Flash. Fredor has a start sit question here. So basically, it looks like the rest of his lineup is set. Maybe we look at here. Yeah, no, you're not going with anybody over Dobbins. So really, it's just going to be the question on the quarterback position, I'm assuming. And you only have Patrick Mahomes here. Oh, who should I start with Mahomes out? Geno, DJ, Goff, or Fields? And 2, who do I start at wide receiver and flex? So the first one for me is actually going to be, I'm assuming this is a 4-point passing touchdown league because you didn't clarify if it was 6 or not. If it's a 4-point passing touchdown league, I'm taking Fields versus Las Vegas here.
I actually really like all of these options, to be honest, but I like Fields the most. I think Fields is somewhat volatile of these options. I think the safest would be Goff, just given the game environment there with the Cowboys, and it's a pretty good matchup. But I like Fields and Goff the most for sure, and Fields provides you with a pretty high ceiling against the Raiders. I think there's a chance that they could, he could rush in a touchdown, have like good day on the ground. It's just Goff is in a really good spot to put up a lot of passing production. That's why I kind of am like wrestling with that decision.
For sure. And in terms of the flex, I think this is a really good question in the flex. Like if Flacco was playing, Downs is already out. Never mind. I forgot he was actually out of practice, so he's not in the equation. It would be between it'd be between Amari Cooper and Rico Dowdle for me, to be honest. Rico, very good game environment against Detroit. Bell cow running back. Amari Cooper, obviously, we know he's a 25% target share player. It's just
I'm taking Cooper pretty fucking easily over Dowdle, to be honest. Against the Eagles, secondary is the worst defense in the league against number one wide receivers. Stone worst.
The only issue I have is he had an advantageous matchup last week. Is just Deshaun Watson has been
he did, and that's kind of the Deshaun Watson experience right now. But I'm still going back to the well on Cooper in a matchup that's good.
Like this is a top 20 running back versus a top 24. Where do I have him?
It's a top 20 running back facing the second best run defense in the league.
Yeah, I mean the game environment is like 52.5 over under, but with that being said,
I fear that the Cowboys might just completely abandon the run in this game because I think
they probably could
Rico Dowdle very easily.
Yeah, I mean I don't know about Stifle, but he gets receiving use. Again, I agree with Amari Cooper, but I think Rico is actually a top 20 play for me this week. So
yeah, but there's like a lot of guys on bye. It's not really saying much.
Yeah, no, it's fair. Again, I would go with Amari, especially in a PPR. But if that was a half PPR, I think you go with Rico.
Yeah.
Hugh here says Marv, T. Higgins, and J.K. Dobbins for Malik Neighbors and Ramondre Stevenson. I want the left side here, especially knowing Neighbors probably going to be out. What should I counter with is what you're asking. I don't know if you can see teams on here, but I put them near the top of the YouTube chat. So Q put them near the top.
I'll look for them here.
Q Hussein. Yeah, okay. He says it. I really want to trade MHA for Neighbors. I'm sure you can get to that in a second.
Yeah, he said, I have AJ Brown, Marvin Harrison, T. Shaheed, B. Rob Montgomery. He has Neighbors, Odinze. What would you try to do here? Okay, so you want to try and trade Marvin.
I don't want Ramondre, and I don't want to put T. Higgins in.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to. I wouldn't even do this if it was Harrison and Dobbins for Ramondre and Neighbors, to be honest. I think Dobbins is worth more than
what's the rest of his depth
margin.
Yeah, but like,
could you do Marvin and Chase Brown for Neighbors? I mean, I don't think Shaheed or any of those guys are going to move the needle. I mean, obviously, if they do, then send those offers out. But he has Odunze as well. Like maybe you could do. Like T is too much. Like you have too much of a too much of a tier. Like it's too big of a jump from Odunze to T to be able to do that swap.
Can I do this? Oh, I could do this too. Okay, so we can look at this. So you have this is your team down below. He mentions that he wasn't sure. Like, can you take T out of this and make it like?
Would you do this if this was Harrison and Dobbins for Neighbors and Odunze?
Very easily, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's maybe what makes the most sense. I mean, he doesn't really have a whole lot of running back talent here. With B-Rob as his only guys, really. If he trades Dobbins away, it's just basically B-Rob, Montgomery, Chase.
He didn't like MHA and Chase, is what he said. So yeah, if you can do. So if he doesn't like MHA and Chase, what's the likelihood he would also give a Odunze to do the Dobbins deal? That's the thing I'm curious about.
Yeah.
Can you throw in like a sweetener here? Can you throw do you have another tight end other than Isaiah Likely? Because like I don't view Isaiah. Yeah, you have Kelsey. Like, does he have a tight end? He's got Kincaid. Maybe he's looking to get another option. It's a tough situation because I mean, like,
what
outside
about
Puka?
What if you gave him Higgins and then took Puka back?
Yeah, I think that could make sense.
If you're in a winning position, Q, I think that's a decent option. Maybe you could give him Higgins and he gives you Puka if he's not in a winning position. But I mean, he has Neighbors. There's a chance he has like a very good record right now.
Yeah, maybe you could try something like that.
He said Likely is just for the buy as well. That's the only reason he has him on the roster.
Got you. Okay. Yeah, I would try. I would either stay the same or try to offer something like this again. Like,
yeah, you could always like wait a week. He said he's 2 and 3.
He says, okay, then I'm not rushing this. Then if you're 2 and 3, you shouldn't be trading for Malik Neighbors, knowing that he's going to be out for this game, knowing that you're going to have to give up Marv, who is a top 12 wide receiver for me in my ranking. So I would at least hold it the week.
Q's 3 and 2. The other guy's 2 and 3. Well, if he loses this week and Neighbors is out, then he might be more incentivized to trade Neighbors. And Neighbors will be back most likely, but just another loss on his record might make him more desperate. So that might be something that you can explore if he loses again.
Yeah, definitely try after the week. Q, appreciate the question. And good that you're in the chat too, because that also helps a lot too for some of the context. Anyways, we got one from Chan as well. If Neighbors misses with Ramondre missing back-to-back passes, would you auto sub block or Gibson? Assuming, oh, okay, Lockett or Gibson. I would rather have Gibson very easily than Lockett this week. Like assuming Ramondre's out. Oh, you also have Algier that you can wait off. There's recent news too that Bijan Robinson got added to the injury report with a hamstring injury. There's no way I'm plugging Lockett in tonight, knowing that I could potentially get a Gibson or Algier workload to themselves in their backfields.
Yeah, like so you kind of ripped on me earlier for dropping Antonio Gibson. I don't think Stevenson's going to be out for this game. Personally, I think he's probably just
he's missed practice all week.
Has he missed practice today?
Yes.
I thought it was just Wednesday that he
Thursday too. Literally, right as you dropped him, he got reported he missed practice. That's why I asked you. I'm like, what the fuck? Like Gibson's going to start.
He's back at practice.
No, that's not the report I saw.
Key starter returns to practice.
It's not Ramondre. He missed. I searched up Ramondre Stevenson's name at like 4 p.m. today, and it said he missed practice.
Hold on. Oh, so I'm just actually trolling.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I didn't know why you dropped Gibson. I was like, what the fuck? Now, with that being said, Mason noticed on live, and he literally said he's putting in a fab bid for him. If you want that context, so take it.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. I was gonna have to drop him anyway.
Fair.
I was gonna have to drop him anyway, though. Realistically, I still don't have a tight end on my roster.
Good point. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna put Ramondre in for now. But if we have the context that A, Ramondre's out, or B, if Bijan's out. If Bijan's out, Algier is my number one option of these guys, for the record. I'm assuming you agree. If Bijan's out, Algier against Carolina, he's like a top 12.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think Stevenson, if he plays, is your number one guy there. If he doesn't play, then you're probably looking at.
But our Algier with no Bijan is over Stevenson very easily.
I don't personally think Bijan's going to be out, but we'll see. Yeah, if Bijan is out, then for sure. Game's about to start. I think we have another couple questions. We really have to speed through these. I think we actually have another question or two.
Yeah, I mean,
scroll past Chan's. We'll get that sorted out.
I can't. So I have to refresh.
Just refresh because I think one more came in a couple minutes ago.
Okay, then we will get to it right now. Then, I gotta go back.
If we didn't have technical issues, we probably would have been fine.
Lambiado. Okay, so we got this one. The others are trade reviews. I can also do Reed instead of Thomas. Oh, great. Okay. This is not ideal. I can also do Reed instead of Thomas. I am 4-1. My other running backs are Gibbs and Hall. Are you taking Brian Thomas Jr. and Josh Jacobs or Tyreek Hill and Joe Mixon? I mean,
Mixon
very comfortably. Very comfortably that side. I love BTJ, but I view Mixon versus Jacobs as a wash, as you guys can see in the rest of the season. I would rather have Hill over BTJ. So appreciate that, Lambiado. And we have gotten to all of the site questions, it looks like, unless if I refresh it.
I think we're good. I always, like you said, I always get a notification if someone asked one, and I saw that last one. That's why I did it. Chan, if you need a refund on those questions, just go to site issues in the chat, and the devs will be happy to help you out with that.
Yep. Hopefully, yeah. I mean, I should have everybody else set in my lineups because like the only ones would be like DK, JSN, Walker, Ayuk, and obviously the 49ers guys, which would already be in. Okay, I should be good in terms of my own lineups. Like the mental process of having to think it through.
Yeah, this is so Mason and I going tonight. He has Purdy and the 49ers D, and I have Ayuk. So I'm blocking his Purdy points, which is nice. Hopefully if Purdy does anything tonight, hopefully it all goes through Ayuk.
Fucking Austin has Debo, so hopefully Ayuk.
Yeah, well, we're praying for an Ayuk eruption game tonight.
Dude, the fact that I'm only projected to lose by 3 and literally I'm without my 3 best wide receivers and my second best probably running back when he gets back with Brooks is pretty insane. We're struggling.
Also, are they calling for rain on Monday? What is up with up with Brees and the Jets playing in every single rain game possible?
Dude, that's such a fucking but he's got Bills defense, dude, in a rain game against the Jets with a new
Live Wilson,
play
so I'm
caller.
fucked.
With a new play
Garrett
caller.
Wilson's about to have 18 targets for three catches for 17 yards.
As long as he's getting them and Ty fucking Conklin is, and I'm happy because he also has Ty Conklin.
That's wild.
Yeah, not fun. Not fun. But,
Also, can I get an update on Jonathan Taylor as well? Because I would like to know if I can use Sermon this week.
Dude, trust, right? Like I have Sermon, but I also have I have Gibson actually. That's a pretty good pivot. But yeah, that's
what are we
in
looking
a
at
league
here
as well.
DNP.
What?
Jonathan Taylor did not practice today. So, I mean, no harm, no foul. If I lost Gibson and I ended up dropping him and Mason plays him against me or whatever, it'd actually be really funny if I sent in a sleeper agent and he drops like no points and fumbles or something like that.
That would be hilarious.
Trey Sermon was going to be the guy I started anyways, but it would have
Do you
been nice
remember
to
when
start
Mason?
Sermon.
Do you remember
and
when
Gibson
Mason traded Tom Cam Akers for $2 just so Tom could potentially beat me and I still won?
Is that what happened?
Dude, Mason's been doing grime. He sent Tom Cam Akers for $2 fab, and he added me beat Danny Lad 21 in the chat.
That's wild. That's
that
wild.
Is collusion.
Imagine being scared
definition.
to compete that you're sending devs free players.
That's literally collusion, by the way, but whatever.
Yeah. Cam Akers. I'm not going to get too mad about it.
Well, I mean, he scored 13 points and I almost lost.
Yeah, fair enough.
Scored a touchdown.
Anyways, hopefully you guys, are we still live? Yeah, we are still live. I didn't even know if we were or not. Hopefully you guys enjoy the game. Good luck in your matchups here. We need a big Ayuk eruption game. That's what we're praying for, fellas. We got to take down the villain of this league. Mason thinks he's good, so we're taking him down. Peace out.
If I can go to 5-1 and you beat him, that's legendary. Let's go.
Oh yeah.